Oh, wait, you're back again? It's only been like 2 weeks, man. I don't have the rep pay. Oh, wait, you're not here for that? Oh, right, Manhunt. I forgot about that. Oh, uh, yeah, come in. Sorry about that, yeah. So, where were we? Yes. Last time I mentioned how I talk about, like, why I don't use the Steam version in the video, but I never actually told you guys why, aside from a little snarky text box. I also said I'd be using modded film for the rest of the video, but I didn't actually end up using any more footage for Manhunt, so, well, it's time to start filming again. Welcome to Manhunt Part 2. So, if you haven't been following me on Twitter at Zyleek, or at Zyleak, if you want to pronounce it that way, I'm a game developer on Roblox, and I've actually been working on my own Manhunt-style game. It's called Lockdown. It's still in development, but I plan to open the game around August. On screen, if I wasn't an idiot, should be gameplay of it, so if you'd like to check it out, I'll probably post an announcement on Twitter. Anyway, back to the video. As you may have read from the name of the chapter, this is about the Steam version and the anti-piracy measures. I'm only going to be talking about it for a quick few minutes, but if you want a truly in-depth analysis of it all and how it all works, I highly recommend the video by Vadim M about hidden anti-piracy measures. Long story short, the Steam version of Manhunt uses a broken crack from the Steam store, which they remove copy protection, aka that stupid Secu-ROM stuff you see everywhere.
Oops, you have to put the CD in your computer.
Yes, even Lego Island has copy protection. That's the same as in Manhunt since it's required to have a CD in the drive. That prevents people from just downloading the game and playing it. That's why crack protection was made. Crack protection is the method where it searches for the copy protection and not the CD. The copy protection searches for the CD while the crack protection looks for the code that checks for the CD. If the pirates disable the copy protection while keeping the crack protection, the copy protection will completely break and anti-piracy measures will work. That's just basically how anti-piracy works in general. Okay, so the Steam version uses a broken crack, right? What does that mean for the people who own the game? Well, it enables several different features, some of which make it almost impossible to complete the game. Actually, no, it just makes it impossible. There are some unnoticeable ones, like you take more damage than usual, you lose ammo every time you reload if it's a multiple of 7, but there's also some bugs that you just can't ignore. You can only open one door per session that includes other enemies, like interacting with doors, interacting with objects in the map. You can only use one per session, so every time you do that, you have to restart the game. Picking up things such as a jerry can will cause a memory leak and crash the game. Painkillers, your only source of health, also crash the game, along with many other measures. The worst part is the pirates disabled this all back in the day. They never even knew about it because it used the same methods for piracy detection as Vice City did. The only ones who had and have to suffer because of the anti-piracy measures are the legitimate customers who pay for the Steam copy. Where do I even begin to talk about the cut content in this chapter? There's so much cut content from the game that if I were to go in depth with everything, this video would be around 20 to 30 minutes long from this chapter alone. How about we start with the cut enemies and characters? Well, the main character you play as, Cash, looks entirely different in the beta. He has a green wife beater on and he's got a lot more muscular and has a goatee. There are a lot of cut enemies too, so I'm just gonna speedrun through all of them. The clowns were a cut gang from Manhunt that were replaced by the Smileys, pretty much. Being they were supposed to be the last gang seen in the game, they were originally controlled the scrapyard, which is weird since the Smileys are really late in the game, and the last time you visit the scrapyard is in Fueled by Hate. That's the 5th mission. They also apparently used amphetamines and other drugs before they hunt. Nothing real notable to say about them. The only real notable thing to say about them is they are based on John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown serial killer in real life. The Jury, a cut gang that was replaced by the Skins due to their similarities with the two, such as the hockey masks. There's also not a ton to say about them since they were mostly cut, but it's rumored to say that they were similar to the Carson City Police Department. They were most likely going to wield the same weapons as the Skins, such as the metal bat, the knife, and the nail gun. The Lost, a gang of homeless lunatics that rule over the scrapyard. Their armor provides excellent camouflage and protection, though it's loud and bulky, so stealth goes out the window with them. They were planned to use all kinds of reclaimed weapons, like broken pipes and rusty steel as improvised weapons. There was a cut hunter in the game called the Scrapyard Samurai that wields a katana. I still can't get over how stupid that is. They were morphed with the Jury to create the Skins in the final game. They actually may have been the closest enemies to get in the final game since their models and screenshots show how they were almost fully finished. They're ruled by the Bin Bag. Speaking of which, let's talk about him. Bin Bag, the leader of the Lost, is an animalistic madman who roams a scrapyard with his gang, the previously mentioned Lost. He was meant to be a boss character like Ramirez or Pigsy. He's the only character who is meant to dual-wield weapons, those being 2 knives. Another oddity is the fact that the character is named Bin Bag, which is a UK term for a garbage bag, when Manhunt takes place in a Rust Belt city in the United States. Scarecrow. Although he was potentially replaced by the Tramp, this falls out of question when you realize the Tramp's name is different, and he also has a different design. His real name is Kenneth Jefferson, a reference to Keith Jefferson, also known as the Smiley Face Killer. Funnily enough, the Scarecrow is planned to be the leader of the Smileys, the gang in Darkwoods Penitentiary. When he puts on the mask, he becomes incredibly violent and wields a homemade axe. The wiki says he may have SPD or split personality disorder. This is potentially false. Scarecrow is listed as a boss character as well. Camheads. No, do we really have to talk about these guys? There's a reason I saved this for last. Being the timing of this video, which is recorded in 2024, I really just do not want to associate this gang with the stupid skibbity whatever videos by Defuck Boom. Why do you exist, man? They were cut from the game because it would have been too futuristic and robotic to have people with cameras for heads in a super realistic game like Manhunt. Oddly enough, in Grand Theft Auto Online, there's an arcade game called Camheads, which is a direct Manhunt reference. We'll talk about that after this section. I need a break for now, man. We're only about a third of the way done with this section, and I already hate it. Now we're on to the weapons. Are you ready? For green class weapons, we have the broken bottle, the rag, and the barbed wire. That's it. For the blue class weapons, we have the ice pick, the blowtorch, the lighter, the tranquilizer pistol, the flashlight, the hunting knife, the drill, the taser, the light handgun plus light, and the silence handgun. The blowtorch and flashlight icons are taken from Manhunt 2. For red class weapons, we have the nail bat, the alternative wooden bat, the fire axe, the cane, the Colt Commando, the wooden plank, the hockey stick, the katana, the pipe, PSG-1, the silenced sniper rifle, and the alternative PSG-1. Although the shotgun wasn't cut from the game, in the beta it was silver instead of black. Another oddity is the HUD icon uses the PSG-1 instead of the actual sniper rifle's icon. Look them side by side and tell me that's the same gun. For throwables, there's the Molotov, the grenade, the tear gas, the plastic bottle, firecrackers, cash, bundled money, not the character, and the water bottle. For carryables, there's the firework, presumably functioning similar to the jerry can, the tripwire, and the night vision goggles. A scrap pickup was also the tranquilizer rifle ammo, no idea what that was removed. As stated previously, we're now talking about the references inside Manhunt and other games, or references to Manhunt in other games. First off, as mentioned earlier, again, we're going to talk about Camheads, the arcade game from Grand Theft Auto Online. Camheads is an in-universe bootleg ROM hack of Badland Revenge 2, another arcade game in Grand Theft Auto Online. It can only be purchased during the last week of October. Luckily for you guys, I own the machine in GTA, so the gameplay you're seeing on the screen right now is actually me. It was originally named Manhunt, found footage in the files, and the leaderboard has 5 players that are references to the game. JEC referencing James Earl Cash, LSW meaning Lionel Starkweather, Man being, well, Man, HNT being Hunt, and finally Pig meaning Pigsy, the final antagonist. The final boss of Camheads isn't even Pigsy, it's some guy named Bearsy. Although not exactly references, there's a few Easter eggs that can be seen in the game. The beta model for James Earl Cash can be seen several times, such as on an electric chair in Darkwoods Penitentiary, and on a cross-shaped tree outside of Starkweather's mansion. Pigsy's corpse can be seen in other missions like Hard as Nails, though you need cheats to actually see this. Sprunk is also seen several times in the game, which is a in-universe version of Sprite, usually used in the GTA franchise. Remember how in part 1 I mentioned points, stars, and rating and how those are affected by execution types? It's quick, it's less graphic, but you ultimately get a lower rating. It's only good for clearing out large amount of enemies early game, but only if you're not striving for all 5 stars. They're recommended for getting the highest score possible. Well, those stars are actually useful for something, that's cheats. Cheats in Manhunt are defined by codes that unlock weird things for you, not even just cheats. Some cheats work differently than others, obviously, but some I wouldn't even classify as cheats. To unlock them, there's 11 cheats in total, but there's 2 different ways to unlock the cheats. 10 of the first cheats can be unlocked through the first method, and the final cheat can be unlocked with the second. They're found in the art panel screen, which is actually where most of my beta content comes from. Each art panel contains half of a code, meaning you need to unlock 2 panels to find 1 cheat. To unlock a art panel, you have to receive 5 stars in a single scene. Do note that even if you do know the cheat, it won't work unless you actually unlock the art panel. When entering a cheat, the first 10 will play a painkiller sound effect, except for the final cheat, which doesn't have a sound. All cheats must be activated on the main menu by just typing it out on PC. Since I don't own a PS2 or Xbox, I'm only talking about the PC port. To disable the cheat, simply type the cheat again and it will go away. One of the only downsides to using cheats is that saving progress is disabled, but you can save after disabling all cheats. Let's go over the different cheats and how to unlock them. Completing scenes 1 and 2 unlocks the runner cheat, which is you run fast. This cheat allows you to have infinite stamina. Completing scenes 3 and 4 unlocks the silence cheat, which is code all are deaf. This cheat makes it so hunters can't hear you. Completing scenes 5 and 6 unlocks the regenerate cheat, which the code is heal back. This allows you to regenerate mid-game without the use of painkillers. Completing scenes 7 and 8 unlocks the helium hunters cheat, which is code they boom. This increases the pitch of the enemies along with having them explode on death. This is personally my favorite cheat, it's so fun to use. Completing scenes 9 and 10 unlocks the fully equipped cheat, which the code is you got arms. This spawns you every weapon spawned at a level. If there's several of the same class, it will spawn you the highest value, basically. Completing scenes 11 and 12 unlocks a super punch cheat, which is you hit hard. This allows you to kill hunters with a single punch. Super fun when using helium hunters. Completing scene 13 and 14 unlocks the rabbit skin cheat, which the code is bunny suit. This is the same model as the white rabbit from the mission Kill the Rabbit. Completing scenes 15 and 16 unlocks the monkey skin cheat, which the code is hell suit. This is the same model as the monkeys from the bonus scene Monkey See Monkey Die. Speaking of which, we'll talk about that next. Completing scenes 17 and 18 unlocks the invisibility cheat, which the code is Evil Eyes. Of course, as the name implies, this makes hunters have a hard time seeing you. Completing scenes 19 and 20 unlocks the Pigsy skin, which the code is Pig Suit. Again, this is just Pigsy's model. Well, what about the final 11th code? Well, this is unlocked after completing the game, no stars needed. Beating Manhunt unlocks the God Mode cheat, which is the code is I'm Invincible. Again, this is the only cheat to not play a sound when activated. It does what the name implies, it's God Mode. Oh, and as mentioned earlier, there are 4 bonus missions that can be unlocked by obtaining stars in each scene too. If you obtain 3 stars in the first 5 scenes, you'll unlock Hard as Nails. I only have a few suggestions when approaching the scene. Stay in the shadows. This is the one scene where you'll struggle if you try to use a nail gun, since it isn't a great firearm in all honesty. Avoid shooting the propane containers. Stick with jerry cans until around the end of the level or when you run out of propane containers. Have patience, sadly, this can't be completed if you rush through it, it's super difficult. If you obtain 3 stars in scenes 6 to 10, you'll unlock Brawl Game. I don't have any tips for this one, honestly. It's mostly RNG whether they gang up on you or fight each other. It's probably one of the hardest bonus scenes. If you unlock 3 stars in scenes 11 to 15th, you unlock Monkey See Monkey Die. There are a few strategies you can use with it, luckily enough. My first tip is that auto-aim is both your friend and your enemy. Although it's tempting to hold right click when firing, try to avoid it sometimes as it will swing your camera around and get you killed. However, it can also help you find enemies in the dark and help you take out large groups of enemies, which there are plenty of large groups of monkeys in this map. When you spawn, do not run towards the monkeys. 3 will drop down instead of 2 and take a lot of health from you. Remember, there's a bottle of painkillers behind a locked door near your spawn. Keep them until you're incredibly low and remember to shoot the windows. That'll help with later in the first section. At the beginning of the scene, everyone has a sawn-off shotgun. Wait for the monkeys to fire both barrels and shoot them while they're reloading. Just don't let them do the same to you. Take your time, have patience, otherwise you will die. If you obtain 3 stars in scenes 16 to 20, you'll unlock Time to Die. This is by far the easiest of the 4, well, with Monkey See Monkey Die and Time to Die being probably the only ones possible for me. This is also the only bonus scene I've been able to fully complete. There are also a few strategies to keep in mind with this one, though it's moderately cakewalk. The first thing you should do is run over to the rooftops to try to get as many kills as possible. Don't focus on executions. If they run away, chase them. In my experience, it's easier to beat them to death rather than to execute them with stealth. Once you get the crowbar, try to go as quickly as you can and get to the warehouse. Standing still regenerates your stamina a lot quicker, and since this is a big map, you'll be running around a lot. Once you get into the warehouse, haul towards the chainsaw and don't let go of the fire button. Run towards enemies, so the chainsaw will tear through them a lot easier than you can with the crowbar. How do I end off this video anyways? Oh, I have an idea. You know the sequel to the game, Manhunt 2? It's actually a lot more interesting than Manhunt 1, being it's about mental health issues and MK Ultra experiments rather than the snuff film theme of Manhunt. Maybe that's what next month's video will be, who knows. In the meantime, you can check out my Twitter, shameless plug I know, but I usually quote random videos and react to them along with showing some beta footage of my game, Lockdown. If you're into that kind of stuff, I really recommend checking it out, but in the meantime, it's time for me to head out. I'll see you guys in July, yeah?